Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something really quite special. It's a family memoir called Life of a Simple Middle-Class Family. It's by Parvez Ansari, but it's narrated, very personally by Faisal Khan. Our mission really is to unpack the insights from this story, how things like resilience and sacrifice and just quietly chasing dreams, how they define this kind of simple middle-class life, specifically in India.
The powerful source really captures something authentic.
It really does. And the book's tagline kind of sets the stage perfectly. In the narrow lanes of sacrifice bloom the whitest dreams.
That's beautiful.
Isn't it? And the way they describe the Khan family's home in Old Delhi, it's not just, four walls. It's made of sighs of laughter echoing in corners, unfinished teacups, memories clinging like old photos. It gives you such a feel for the place.
Yeah, it paints a real picture.
And these Khans, they're not the Bollywood type, right? The book makes that clear. They're simple, flawed, funny too, and just unapologetically middle class.
The real deal.
Exactly. So let's start by getting a feel for the rhythm of this family. 6 people. Their home apparently had this peculiar heartbeat things, like a flickering kitchen light, the sound of Ami's bangles.
Oh yeah, against the Kathai, the woke, right.
Yeah, exactly. And the muffled azan, the call to prayer coming through the window. It's those little details.
Builds the atmosphere.
So the family members themselves, you've got Abu, the dad, retired railway clerk, quiet, almost poetic, never raised his voice apparently, but you just listened, spoke Urdu beautifully.
Like a poet, the book says.
Yeah. Then there's Ami. She's the sun and storm, the financial manager, but never went near a bank. Her fingers always smelled of haldi, turmeric, and her heart always close to prayer.
The classic matriarch, in a way, managing everything.
Totally. Then the kids, Zoya, the eldest, 28, school teacher. She's described as the quiet tide that held the ship steady. An unwritten poet.
Right.
Natia, 25. She's the thunder. Ambitious, sharp, fiercely protective. Could argue with anyone, apparently, but also find the cheapest vegetables, the sabzi, in the market.
Huh, quite the combination.
Right. Aliyah, 22, the youngest daughter, lives a bit in her own world, full of dreams, loves novels, quotes Mirza Ghalib.
Oh, the dreamer.
And finally, Faisal. He's 20, our narrator, the only son. Calls himself everyone's royal headache and occasional hero, wears mischief like perfume and ambition like yesterday's shirt. I love that line.
That's great phrasing. Really captures a young man's energy, maybe a bit undirected.
Definitely. And their daily life, it sounds chaotic but functional. Ami's voice as the sacred alarm clock. 5 people, 1 washroom. You can imagine the morning rest.
Oh, absolutely. The disappearing hairbrush, classic family stuff.
Yeah, but it flowed. Zoya leaving disciplined, Nasia yelling instructions, Aliyah late with a book, Abu with his newspaper. Ami had her quiet afternoons for prayers, the dua.
That was sort of structured chaos.
And then evenings brought everyone back. Dinner was like a conference of overlapping voices, exaggerated stories, stolen bites.
What's really fascinating here is how the narrative weaves the mundane, the everyday stuff with something much deeper.
Yes.
Well, those routines, sharing the bathroom, the neighbor's radio, they're not just background. They become the soundtrack to their love, their resilience. It's not just what they do, but how they live through that routine, how they survive and even thrive in it.
That's a great point. It's in those small things, isn't it? And a huge part of that how involves their dreams and, well, the incredible sacrifices behind them. The book talks about their school bags. It contrasts how the kids carried them. Zoya's was like a badge of honor, books neatly covered. Natia carried hers like a mission, ready to argue her case. Aliyah, well, she was all feelings, no formula, probably had the kite runner tucked inside instead of her history textbook.
Always the dreamer.
Right. And then there's Faisal, our narrator, the future of the family, but he actually failed class 11, barely passed 12. He said he felt like Atlas carrying his school bag. That weight.
You feel that pressure on them.
Absolutely. And
right.
Underneath all that, the parents' sacrifices, just silent. Abu selling his old watch, one he'd had for 20 years, for Zoya's coaching fees, didn't say a word. And Ami selling 2 gold bangles for Natsia's nursing course. Her excuse. She didn't like gold anyway.
Oh, that just hits you, doesn't it? The quiet ways they provide.
It does. And Faisal's guilt comes through so strongly. He says, behind all the laughter, I always knew what I cost them. The book really drives this home. Our school bags were never just school bags. They were hope stitched with financial struggle, carrying dreams, not just books.
That's powerful imagery.
And the sacrifices, they weren't announced. They just happened. found in folded receipts, sleepless nights, and prayers said in silence.
Which really makes you wonder, how does a family keep hoping, keep believing when they're constantly up against financial strain, setbacks?
Right.
The book shows even when they're disappointed, especially with Faisal sometimes, they don't give up. They just offer that quiet beta, that term of endearment.
Yeah.
It's like this deep, unconditional belief becomes the real currency in their home. It's unspoken, but it fuels everything, doesn't it?
It really does seem to be the bedrock. That belief lets them navigate the very particular rhythms of their life, like Faisal's observation about Eid and exam.
Oh, yeah, the two guests who hated each other but always showed up together.
Exactly. He has such a way with words. You have the pure joy of Eid, this Muslim festival, which felt like a declaration that we'd survived another season of struggle.
A moment to breathe.
Totally. New clothes, Abu secretly getting Faisal a white kurta, the smell of freshly fried Sevilla and that sweet dish, and Ami's tears, but happy ones as she kissed them.
Those small joys mean so much more in that context.
They really do. But then, boom, the contrast. Exam results, the tension. On result night, Ami would make mazur dal, lentils, like silent comfort food.
Food is communication.
Yeah. Zoya's results were calm. Aliyah would come home beaming. Natsia! She'd march in, top her again, and then turn to Faisal. Artum! Fail Hugh ya bakge, and you fail or scrape by.
Oof. Tough love from Natsia.
Always. But Faisal says his pain wasn't really his marks. It was seeing his parents' silent sighs. Ami giving him an extra roti without comment. Zoya passing him her uneaten rasgulla. Natsia later saying quietly, "You're smarter than this, idiot." That disappointment hurt more.
Wow. That's heavy.
But they never gave up on him. Never did the whole Sharmaji Kabeda comparison, the perfect neighbor's son.
Right, that dreaded comparison.
Yeah.
Connecting this to the bigger picture, it really highlights how these families navigate such huge emotional swings. The highs of celebration are often brief, immediately followed by the pressure to perform, to achieve.
A cycle.
But underneath it all, there's always that current of love, that unwavering support, even if it's not spoken aloud. That's the resilience, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that underlying support, maybe it's what allows for the messy, real parts of family life, too. Because it wasn't all quiet support and understanding. Conflict was real.
Oh, definitely not sanitized.
No way. Faisal says their walls had ears, remembering every shout, tear, slam door, but crucially, that we always found our way back. It wasn't the picture-perfect sand scars and saber values and patience. It was shouting matches behind closed windows, the chapel chases.
The slipper chases.
Yeah.
That sounds intense, but also somehow relatable for some families.
Right. Very real. Their conflict styles were different, too. Natsia and Faisal. Loud clashes over anything. A foundation brush, bunking tuition.
Typical sibling stuff, amplified.
Yeah. Zoya used silence. That taught Faisal guilt, hearing her cry quietly later. Aliyah rarely fought, but when she did, her words cut deep. Told Faisal once to wake up before it forgets you exist.
Ouch. That lands.
And even Ami and Abu had their quiet wars. Marked by silence lasting too long, teacups put down harder. Ami wouldn't ask about Abu's sugar levels, small things escalating, maybe starting over bills or Zoya's marriage prospects. It would end with one of them praying louder than usual.
Attention expressed indirectly.
But Faisal stresses they never stayed angry, not once. Apologies were small gestures, like Abu bringing Ami her favorite snack.
That unspoken repair work.
And life didn't stop for their dramas, right? So they learned to, as Faisal puts it, stitch our anger into sarcasm. Patch our pain with humor.
A coping mechanism.
Yeah. Like Natsia, after a week of not speaking to Faisal, throwing pens at him, pretending to be annoyed, but saying they were for his job application.
That's actually quite touching in its own way. What's fascinating is how this memoir portrays conflict.
Yeah.
It really challenges that idealized image of the harmonious family. It shows that conflict, when you have that unspoken understanding and you find your way back quickly, it can actually strengthen the bonds, especially in a home where you just can't afford long grudges.
No space for it, literally or figuratively.
Exactly. You have to find a way back.
And finding that way back is vital when you're also trying to dream, right? Faisal initially felt dreams were only for the rich. For the Khans, dreams had to be smart, approached cautiously, like climbing a ladder with broken steps.
Pragmatic dreaming.
But they still dreamt. Zoya wanted respect, a better school. Natsia, she wanted her own clinic, not just to treat patients, but to treat systems that treated poor people like statistics.
Yeah, ambitious.
And she had that amazing line, Mujhe ye country think karni hai, bagna nahi hai. I want to fix this country, not run away.
That's incredibly powerful, real commitment.
Isn't it? Aliyah dreamt of writing novels, believing words could save lives.
The power of story.
And Faisal, he felt lost. Tried things, nothing stuck. He knew he was good at making Ami laugh, sensing Abu's moods, fixing the Wi-Fi. But as he says, none of that went on a resume.
That feeling of undefined potential, it's relatable.
Totally. And the whole family chipped in for these dreams with whatever small means they had. Internet only when Nadia earned extra. Zoya tutoring to buy Ami a new kurti, Aliyah giving up snacks to save for a second-hand Kindle.
Every little bit counted. Sacrifices woven into the fabric of daily life.
Yeah. There's this really touching story about Abu secretly counting coins to buy Aliyah a good pen for her birthday. He was short, and Faisal quietly added the difference without saying anything.
Those quiet acts of love again.
Exactly. And they celebrated every small win. Aliyah getting a short story published, Zoya getting a tiny 400 raise, Nadia successfully delivering a premature baby at her hospital. The book's message is clear. Big dreams don't need big wallets. They need big hearts.
It really makes you think, how do families maintain that kind of hope, that collective drive, when things are so materially tough?
Yeah.
It points to a kind of internal richness, doesn't it? Something that goes way beyond money, where every small victory feels like a massive triumph because of the effort involved.
It really does, an internal richness. I like that. And you needed that richness, that big heart, when facing society's pressures, like Zoya's marriage journey.
Right, the Rishta process.
Yeah. For her at 28, it wasn't romance, it was pressure, like a loan application you desperately wanted approved. Because at 28, people felt her umar ho gaye hai, she was getting old for marriage.
That societal clock ticking. It's intense.
And the whole Rishta experience sounds stressful. The house becoming a war zone of cleaning, borrowing nice crockery, Ami making perfect kebabs, Zoya forced into a peach suit she hated, Faisal hiding behind the curtain doing surveillance.
Trying to suss out the potential family.
Exactly. And the rejections were just absurd sometimes. One family didn't like that Zoya wore a watch. Another judged their drawing room furniture. One guy's family asked her, "Aapko cooking ka shauq hai?" Do you like cooking?
Oh, the classic question.
And Zoya's brilliant reply, "Mujhe students ka future banane ka shauq hai." I like building students' futures.
Good for her, standing her ground.
Absolutely. Another family rejected her because she was too tall. Said their son preferred choti ladkiyan, shorter girls.
It's unbelievable, the criteria sometimes.
So superficial. It really is. And you feel Zoya's quiet pain when she asks, why do they ask if I can cook but never if I can think?
That sums it up perfectly, the frustration.
Eventually, she just tells her mother, Ami, rishta ke liye mat bago. Mom, don't run after proposals. If it's meant to be, it'll happen. No amount of biryani is going to impress them if it's not written.
Taking back control, asserting her dignity.
Yeah. And Faisal, watching all this, makes this secret promise to himself to achieve something, make her proud, make her walk with her head held high.
This part of the story really highlights that clash between traditional expectations and just basic human dignity. The scrutiny Zoya endures. It shows the emotional cost, doesn't it? When your worth is judged by these external, often meaningless standards, her decision to stop chasing rishtas is a really powerful moment.
It truly is, a moment of reclaiming herself. And eventually she did find someone. She said yes to a man described as decent, kind, not perfect, but patient. Someone who actually asked her, what makes you happy, Zoya?
A glimmer of genuine connection there.
Right. But the wedding itself, Faisal calls it a calculated storm. A gentle earthquake. Smiles hiding stress, glitter covering loans. Bittersweet.
The reality of a middle-class wedding often involves that financial pressure, doesn't it?
Immense pressure. You see the toll on the parents. Ami crying, Itni jaldi badi kaise ho gaye meri beti. How did my daughter grow up so fast? Abu's back seemed to bend a little more under the weight of it all. Faisal says reading the expense ledger was like a funeral poem for his savings.
It's heartbreaking.
Zoya started quietly cutting things from her dream wedding list to lessen the burden. Nadia took charge, the manager, but Faisal caught her crying alone on the balcony.
Even the tough ones feel it deeply.
Yeah. And Faisal really felt Zoya's absence was imminent. She was the quiet rhythm of the house. He dreaded the silence she'd leave behind.
It changes the whole dynamic.
Absolutely. There's this incredibly poignant moment just before Zoya leaves. Ami is massaging her hand and tells her, Rona svatata hai jab kuch tujhe, tu nikol husinte. Crying is for when something breaks. You aren't breaking. You're taking flight.
Wow. What strength in those words.
Isn't it amazing? Faisal sums it up so well. Shadi is not just the daughter going away, it's the family learning how to breathe again without her.
That really gets to the heart of it. A major life event, like a wedding, which should be joyful, becomes this crucible for the family. It reveals everything, the love, the sacrifice, the quiet grief, and how they have to readjust, rebuild their rhythm.
Yeah, rebuild their rhythm. That's exactly it. And that rebuilding was tough, especially financially after the wedding. The reality hit hard. Dried garlands and emptied savings.
The aftermath.
Abu started reusing old slippers. Ami was buying loose tea instead of packaged. Faisal admits he started skipping meals to save money.
The quiet belt tightening.
And Abu, trying to downplay the stress, told Faisal, "Tension tu unkahote jinka paswato ota." Tension is for those who have time, just soldiering on.
That kind of stoicism is common, but it hides a lot of strain.
For sure. Faisal's job hunt was brutal. Constant rejections. He felt that India doesn't lack talent. It lacks the ability to value struggle. They wanted perfect resumes, not real stories. His conclusion. Asli dalat recommendation hai. Real wealth in the job market is having connections.
That feels depressingly accurate for many.
He tells the story about an interview in Gurgaon. He had just enough money for the bus fare or lunch. He chose the bus fare, lied to Ami about eating, but she knew.
Oh, the things you hide to avoid worrying your parents.
Exactly. He finally got a job, but the salary, $18,000, it just wasn't enough. Bills piled up, credit card debt from the wedding, the loan, medicines, groceries. He started freelancing, even sold his treasured books, Galib, Manto, Rumi, even his watch.
Selling things that hold personal meaning.
And then he overheard people talking, mocking, middle-class log shadi men sapay sa udadete, for loan ke liye bhagte hai. Middle-class people blow all their money on weddings, then run around for loans.
That casual cruelty.
It hit him hard. He realized people don't hate the poor. They mock the poor. Wow. That's a stark observation.
He broke down talking to Abu, and Abu told him something profound. Tum zinda ho, tum har ke baad bhi nikalte ho suba, tum ro ke bhi smile karte ho, betiye bhi to jeet hai. You're alive, you go out even after defeat, you smile even after crying. Son, that's also a victory.
Redefining winning.
Yeah. Faisal cried, realizing that for them, winning here is just surviving, not achieving in the conventional sense.
It raises such a critical question, doesn't it? How do you hold on to your dignity, your sense of self-worth, when you're facing these systemic hurdles and society seems to devalue your struggle, or worse, mock it?
Right.
Faisal's journey, in his father's words, show this incredible strength in just continuing and showing up day after day. That resilience becomes its own form of victory, even if the world doesn't see it that way.
That redefinition, that quiet victory of survival, it seems like it became a turning point for Faisal. Because amidst that difficult period, Aliyah, the dreamer, started talking seriously about medicine.
New dream emerging.
Yeah. And Faisal felt this wave of shame, realizing he'd been so caught up in surviving he'd forgotten about fueling the future. He made a decision. He told Aliyah, "I'll make it happen. Your sacrifice won't save this family. Your success will."
Wow. That's a huge statement. Shifting the focus.
A massive shift. He created what he called his self-made map, started auditing his own skills, learning relentlessly English grammar, digital tools, anything he could find online, YouTube tutorials, set himself micro-victories, apply for X jobs, save 50 euros a day. He said, knowledge became my prayer.
Taking control. Very deliberate action.
He got a junior admin job at a hospital, grueling commute, 2 hours each way. But he wasn't just there for the salary. He had a vision. He watched, learned, helped wherever he could.
Seeing the bigger picture.
Every spare rupee went into Aliyah's education fund. Skipped meals out, sold old clothes, taught weekend classes. People apparently laughed, told him to go to Dubai, make quick money. But he felt he was planting seeds.
Playing the long game. Investing in the future.
And then Abu's health took a dip, diabetes complications. Aliyah wanted to drop her coaching to help. Faisal refused. He repeated his line, "Your sacrifice won't save this family, your success will." That moment, Aliyah hugged him for the first time in years.
That must have been incredibly powerful. A moment of deep connection and shared purpose.
Huge. And the payoff came. Aliyah didn't just pass her medical entrance exam. She got a scholarship, ranked 2143 nationally.
Amazing. All that effort paying off.
Her words to Faisal, simple. Main tumhe fail hanina hidungi bai. I won't let you fail, brother.
Wow, the responsibility shifts, in a way. Now she's carrying the torch, too.
Exactly. And Faisal's message from this experience, directed at other young people struggling, it's so practical and inspiring. Your circumstances are not your cage. Your inaction is. Learn relentlessly, budget your time, respect your parents, but don't inherit their fears, and crucially, protect the dreamers in your home.
That's incredibly insightful advice. You know, what strikes me here is that distinct shift from passive endurance of struggle to really active, intentional effort. Faisal's detailed plan, his dedication to Aaliyah, it's almost like a blueprint.
Yeah, it feels very practical.
It shows how individual commitment, even when things feel overwhelming, can genuinely create change. It's about agency, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deciding to act, not just react, and how that one decision can uplift the whole family.
It's an incredible transformation.
Yeah.
And the book shows the result wasn't some sudden miracle, but a gradual return to peace earned, not given.
Earned peace. I like that.
The small sounds became beautiful again. Ami's bangles clinking gently. Aaliyah turning textbook pages. Even the neighbor's radio.
The return of normalcy, but maybe appreciated more deeply.
Exactly. Abu's walk got steadier. Ami started humming while cleaning, started stitching again. Aaliyah became this force of nature, walking to college like a soldier wearing armor before battle.
Focused and determined.
Faisal started journaling his micro-victories. His whole identity began to shift, not just Faisal from the middle-class Mahalla, but Mr. Khan from admin. And he started giving back, helping others he saw struggling.
Paying it forward, completing the cycle.
The whole family's energy changed. More laughter. They started having Juma Ki Dawat, Friday feasts together again. Natsia started online courses. Zoya visited and told Faisal, "Du sak main bai says yara farishtai. You're truly more an angel than a brother."
High praise indeed.
And Faisal makes this really important distinction. Resourcefulness is finding ways to manage. Resilience is developing the strength to rise even when managing fails. That's what poverty, the struggle, had taught them.
That's a key insight. Managing versus rising.
He even looks at Aaliyah and thinks, "Nahi mushi lagta hai tum is hospital ko ek din chalogi." No, I think you'll run that hospital one day. His core message just keeps coming through. Dream, despite, anyway, always. Dreams aren't a luxury, they're a necessity.
You know, connecting this back, it really underscores that profound internal shift that happens alongside the external changes. The return of those small joys, starting to give back, redefining success for themselves. It shows how resilience allows a family not just to get by, but to actually live with dignity, with purpose. They've changed their own narrative.
I really have. And it's not presented as the end, is it? The triumph isn't a destination. Life goes on, sometimes crawling, sometimes sprinting, sometimes limping.
The journey continues.
Exactly. The lesson Faisal shares is, you must choose to go on even when everything tells you to give up. The Khans haven't reached some perfect happy ending, but they have peace in the present and power in the path forward.
That sense of agency again, power in the path.
We see glimpses, Aaliyah excelling in her classes, Zoya sending happy voice notes, Ami's quiet gratitude, Abu tending a small vegetable patch, Natsia freelancing, Faisal writing their story.
Life finding its new, steadier rhythm.
And the book offers this powerful redefinition of success. It's not about status or wealth. Success is standing up again when life has thrown you face first into mud. Feeding your family on a small income without losing your self-respect. Letting your sister study when the world says, "Shadi kar do."
Yeah.
Get her married off.
Success is resilience and integrity.
Yeah. It's not in the loudness of your Instagram, but in the stillness of your intent. Their family didn't get rich, but they became richer in resilience. Love wasn't grand gestures, but sleepless nights for each other's sake. Support was in quiet glances. Dreams were possible for anyone willing to suffer and still smile.
Beautifully put.
Faisal's advice near the end is so moving. You are not broken, you are being shaped. Pain is a cruel teacher, he admits, but it gives the deepest lessons. Keep that inner light, the diya, lit resolve, forgiveness, faith. Believe that every honest tear counts. He positions the middle class not as lacking, but as the foundation. Says our pain has poetry, our struggle has soul, we are not less than.
It really reframes the whole narrative of struggle, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not about reaching some endpoint called success, but about the ongoing process of growth, of choosing to move forward, learn, lift others. That continuous action is the success. It fundamentally changes the definition.
It really does. And ultimately, Faisal concludes, what truly matters isn't the bank balance or the report card. It's what lives inside a home where people care.
The human connection.
The Khans weren't perfect. Their kitchens sometimes smelled of pure survival. But we had each other, he says, and somehow that was enough.
That core bond.
He even reflects on being middle class as this unique in-between blessing. It's where character is built, where empathy grows, where dreams are chased, not because they're easy, but because they're necessary.
Finding strength in that specific position.
So a final thought maybe for you, our listeners, drawn from this. Don't be ashamed of your struggle wherever you find it. Don't hide your scars. Wear them like medals. They prove you fought, you stayed, you rose. A middle-class home, Faisal suggests, may not give you space to spread your wings, but it will never let you fall without trying to lift you.
That image of being lifted.
Powerful.
And the book leaves us with this thought.
Yeah.
One day, when you stand tall, not because of status but self-respect, remember the journey. The narrow lanes, tight budgets, secondhand books, the simple glass of chai, the faded school bag. Because these are not signs of lack. They are symbols of your origin story.
Your foundation.
Exactly. The whole deep dive really comes down to that final message from the book. Zindagi fera muskurai. Life smiled again. Not because it got easier, but because we got braver.
A testament to the human spirit, really.
Absolutely. A truly remarkable story.